Welcome to In the Bush. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and I am going to get this cabin tightened up because I'm going to stay in it for the next 2 days. I have been working on this cabin for 13 hours straight. Nothing to eat. Had a few step twos along the way. It took a lot longer than I thought. It seems to always take longer than I think. But it took a lot longer than I thought to get this thing really dried in and at least able to be slept in. But it's nice and cozy. It's completely enclosed in, and I have a door made out of plastic and a blanket and some thin paneling, old paneling on the walls, and but I have the stove going. Life is good. Today's step 2 is a buckler. It's a real light, it's a real light, like logger type. Very, very, very much so deserved. All right, so here's the scoop. I wanted to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving with little Shooter in the cabin tomorrow, and so I set myself a deadline in which the cabin had to be enclosed in at least well enough to stay in. And so I started out the day today by moving the tarp around to make sure it was in the right spot and all the overhangs were right and everything. Yesterday I came back here and I put tar paper on the whole entire roof. That was really a hard job, but I got it done. I've seen other guys do this when using a tarp for a roof. They'll put the tar paper down to give an extra layer of protection. So that's what I did. Did that yesterday. Got the tarp situated just the way I wanted it today, and secured it down, and then hung up a bunch of this old paneling on the inside of the walls. Half of it was rotten, but of the good pieces that I found, I was able to actually do the whole cabin. So hung that up. Then I hung up plastic to enclose the two ends, and I worked on the wood stove. So what we got going on with the wood stove is completely temporary. I actually borrowed the paving stones underneath the wood stove. I actually borrowed those from my aunt, and I'm going to get my own stones for it, and I'm going to actually mortar them in. I looked up what it takes to be up to code with a wood stove, and I although this would not pass code right now, I am using that as a guideline so that we're safe about it. I do have a smoke alarm in here, and I also have a fire extinguisher. So I did hang up some old metal around the wood stove to protect the walls from the wood stove, and according to DuckDuckGo, when you use metal on the wall, your wood stove has to be at least a foot from the wall, which we've got over a foot of clearance, and same with your stovepipe. So that's kind of what I went off of, and like I said, none of this is really permanent. I've got to do some adjustments with my stovepipe jack and everything, and I don't have anything like caulked down, so if it were to rain it would leak right now, but there's no rain in the forecast for the next 2 or 3 days, so we should be fine. That's about it. I worked for 13 hours today just to try to get everything in place using the bed frame that we found in the old haunted house. So hopefully no spirits are attached to that. But for a door, we literally have plastic with a piece of plastic with a blanket over it, which is fine for tonight. And got this old table. This old table came from the old trailer house that I used to live in. If this table could tell stories, let me tell you, some good times were had on this thing. So anyway, I think that's pretty much bringing you up to a speed. There's been a lot going on, and I haven't filmed everything just because there's just so much. So, and I've just been hammering down, just pedal to the metal, go, go, go. So I'm going to relax and warm my toes by this fire and call it a night, because tomorrow we're cooking a big Thanksgiving feast. Well, that absolutely sucked. Always make your bed. I heard a military man give a speech one time where he talked about it. He said, always make your bed. It shows that you have some order in your life, and it's the first task of the day. Even if it's the only thing you did that day, you got one thing done.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.
It shows that you care enough to spend a little bit of extra time to make things look halfway decent. First coffee in the cabin, and the first coffee that I've made on the wood stove. Okay, so I was really surprised, not in a good way. I was really surprised the stove just could not keep up. There's just too many drafts, and not only that, just there's nothing behind this paneling. The walls are too thin. Sorry, this chair creaks terribly. I'll try not to move. I figured, even though we just have this thin paneling up and plastic on the ends, I figured it would be similar to a hot tent camping experience. This is a very small space, and that should be plenty of stove, but that stove could not keep up last night, and it only got down to 31. So, that really bothers me. It was kind of windy. That could have been part of the problem. But I thought that the stove would do a lot better. I was pushing the stove to its limit. I was burning it hot to the point to where it was bothering me. And it just couldn't keep up. It was only warmed right next to the stove. So I'm really surprised because I figured it would be so similar to a hot tent camping experience. I figured it would run you out of here, but that is not the case at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some more stuff, and I'm gonna try to block even more of the air gaps and everything for tonight. So we'll do some work on this later, but for right now I need to pick up some supplies and get ready for our Thanksgiving dinner.